familiar with GSM architecture, right? What are the functionalities of EIR? Please do respond. What do you mean by grey list, blacklist and whitelist? No, who updates the location of mobile? It's not EIR. Updation will be taken care by MSC, right? Mobile Switching Center. And it will be updated in HSS. Just rewind what is the full form of EIR. From that you will be capable of knowing what it does. Updation of location will be done by MSC, Mobile Switching Center, and that location updates is stored in HSS. I told you, right, whenever we move to some other location, that MSC will say the information like this mobile is under me. Yeah. So please do update in the corresponding HSS. Equipment identity register. Equipment in the sense, here our equipment, what is the equipment? Mobile, right? So that equipment identity, we are identifying our mobile with some number. What is that number? IMEI number. Yeah. We can't say SIMs because SIM is different and IMEI number is different. For SIM, we will be having IMSI. IMSI is nothing but International Mobile Subscriber Identity. And for EIR in the sense, indicates stolen and it is not related with SIMs. It is related with mobile equipment. SIM we will be having IMSI, which is a unique identifier. And for mobile, we will be having IMEI. So it doesn't indicate if it is valid SIM. It indicates if the phone, we are using that phone or not. If the phone is inactive state or not, that will be indicated by whitelist. Yeah, stolen will be under blacklist. That is fine. But don't get confused between the equipment and IMSI. Nothing. SIM is different. SIM identifies subscriber, but equipment EIR identifies IMEI number identifies the not. It is not anyway related with SIM. For mobile also, without SIM will be that is some hardware, right? That mobile will be some hardware. So for that hardware also will be having some number. So because of that only, even though you block your SIM, if you lost your phone, then police people will be identifying with the help of that IMEI number. Even though the SIM is blocked. If it is blocked, we can't get some signals, right? So then it will be identified with the help of IMEI number. I hope it is clear. Okay then. Okay. What are the functionalities of physical layer? And why base transceiver and base station controller are not connected via radio interface? What is the medium that exists between BTS and base station transceiver and base station controller? Okay. What is the medium between base station controller and transceiver? It's not only that, it has many functionalities. Yeah, all BTS will be under the control of BSC, that is fine. But what is the medium? How they are connected? BTS and BSC is connected via your mobile and BTS is good. How it is connected? Mobile and BTS and BSC. How they are connected? Just link practically your mobile. It is in your hand. And base station, it is some tower placed somewhere in the city, right? So how they are connected? That is via radio, right? And what about base station transceiver and how they are connected? What medium they are using? I hope you know what are the types of medium. Yeah, between mobile station and base is radio interface, that is correct. And try to remember the interfaces also. We are having ABs and between each and every network element, between two network elements, we are having interfaces, right? So try to remember that may be useful for your pitch. So multiple choice questions. Okay, I'll start with base station trans. Yeah, interface. But even interface has some protocols and some medium, right? If you are saying this is radio interface in the sense it is air, right? Between mobile and mobile is somewhere and somewhere it is air. Whenever we talk about base station transceiver and base station controller, it is wired medium. Okay, both are connected with the help of wires. It's not wireless. That is what I mean to ask. Interfaces anyway you'll be seeing that in the architecture diagram. Every network element is connected with the help of interface. But for that interface, we'll be having some protocols. In order to follow that protocols and in order to transmit that, we should have some medium. That medium can be wired medium and wireless medium. In the first session, if you remember, I have told you wired medium and wireless medium, types of wired mediums, how to, in wireless medium also, how the accessing will be done, how antenna will transmit the signals. These things are covered. Please do rewind, please do go through the previous sessions also, maybe the first chapter. Yeah. How many layers we have in this GSM market, in this GSM protocol stack? Layers. Yeah, fine. 3 layers, right? So one is physical layer, data link layer, and network layer. So when we compare with OSI model, I told it's merged into network layer, like transport layer and network layer. These will be merged as network layer, and data link layer is anyway separate, and physical layer also separate, right? So in physical layer, these are the functionalities that takes place. Whatever voice signal, it is visible, right? Everything is clear, right? Okay, I'm continuing, assuming that everything is clear. So in physical layer, speech in GSM is digitally coded at the rate of 13 kbps. Okay, so whatever voice signal, whatever you speak or something, whatever you speak, that signal will be in the analog form. That signal will be converted into digital with the help of analog to digital modulated. modulation circuit, and with the help of analog to digital modulation, I think you know how to do that analog signal, how to convert that analog signal to digital signal. We'll be having sampling over there and quantization over there. In your book it is not mentioned, maybe it is out of scope, but you can just go through how an analog signal is converted into digital signal. So first we'll be having sampling. Sampling in the sense we'll be dividing based on the time. So that also has, then we'll be covering, we have to follow that, and then only we can exactly recover our signal back when, at the receiver side. After sampling, we'll be quantizing the signal and then we'll be converting it into analog signal into bits. So this channel, whatever the speech signal, it is channel coded, and then interleaving, I told you in the previous session, like we'll be leaving some time slots in form of time. If you are leaving bandwidth, then it is called as guard bands. In frequency spectrum, it is called as guard band. Here we'll be calling as interleaving and burst formatting. In the sense, we'll be forming that bits into bursts, some group of bits. And then ciphering in the sense, for ciphering, as I told you, we'll be having algorithms. These algorithms will be, who will be having the list of all these algorithms that should be applied for a particular user? Algorithms, authentication vectors, whatever related to authentication, who will be having this? So whenever we are studying the architecture, just go through the names of the elements, network elements present in that. The name itself suggests something. When you say authentication center, it is the one who has that authentication vectors and algorithms related to that. So each and every network element has some meaningful name. So based on that, I think you can correlate the functionalities of that also. So this is the one which gives the algorithm vectors, authentication center, and based on that, MSc decides which algorithm to choose from the list of algorithms. Okay, so for ciphering also we are having algorithms. Here they are using some algorithms. In 4G we'll be using AES, No3G, and ZUC. In the previous slide, I think I mentioned what are the algorithms used by GSM. Ciphering in the sense nothing but encryption with some other data. So when you encrypt, even though someone peeps out, someone decodes the data, they'll be unable to decode the data since they don't have the corresponding key. That is nothing but ciphering, and from ciphering it will be modulation. I think you know modulation. In the second session, I explained what is modulation and what is the purpose, why we need types of modulation. So that signal will be mixed with some higher frequency signal in order to transmit, and then that signal will be transmitted out. Okay, this voice signal, which is in analog form, will be converted into digital, and all this formatting will be done, and then modulation will be done, and then it will be sent into the radio interface. In the receiver side, same thing. Like when it is modulated, the demodulator should be there, and then deciphering, for the deciphering we should have the corresponding key formatting. What is formatted, like these bits are formatted into this burst. So like deformatting should be done into the large group of bits, and then de-interleaving, and then receiver we should be capable of receiving the exact data which is transmitted. So these are the functionalities of physical layer. The same thing, like whatever is transmitted, it is initially like whatever the speech, it is maybe consider it, maybe he's speaking for about 20 milliseconds or something like that. Then it is converted into bits. After bits, channel encoding will done. After, see, if you see channel encoding, almost double the bits are added. So our actual data is 260, but after that we are after encoding with some other bits, with some parity bits or with other bits, then we are getting 456. It is almost double. So in the sense, the data rate will be decreased by half, right? So whatever you are transmitting, like whatever the medium is capable of transmitting, in that half of the bits we are transmitting the other bits, not the message bits. So the data rate will be less, right, in GSM when compared to 3G and 4G. And then interleaving, like this interleaving will be done, like between some bits will be providing some slot again, and then other bits. After that, burst formatting, like the sequence number into some burst. After 57 to 58, some burst, like we'll be formatting that, and then we'll be sending. After that, as I told you, more ciphering will be applied to this, and then modulation will be applied, and then we'll be sending it to sending out from the transmitter. And same thing. Formation, this green things are there, right? These are nothing but interleaving. If you see here, tail bits, guard bits, these green things. These are guard bits and tail bits. So these only this white thing will be the data. These things will be guard bits, like interleaving thing. When you see some particular bus, it will be in the form of this. Each sequence will be having, it will be followed by some header bits and some tail bits. Frame hierarchy will be, see if you see this, the time slot will be having tail bits and sequence, training sequence, and then here at the end will be having guards, right? So every frame, here the frame is of about 4.615 milliseconds. So for every 4.6 milliseconds, one frame will be transmitted into the air. Anyway, in the transmitted into the air, in the sense it will be again converted to analog, then only it will be transmitted. So each user is allocated with some slots. Like in this 4.6, we are having one frame. In this one frame, we are having again 7 subframes, 8 subframes. 0 to 7 will be like one subframe. So maybe allocated in subframe 1 and the other user may be allocated in subframe, something like that. See here, these are the data that is transmitted, these are the encrypted bits and these are the tail bits. Alright, so like in third channel, in third slot, maybe other user is allocated. Sixth channel, maybe some other user is allocated. These things will be decided by BSC. Like when to allocate which user, when to allocate the resources. BSC base station transceiver. So in that you will be having RRM, right? Radio Resource Management. This is the one which is responsible for allocating these resources, like when to allocate, like at which slot certain users should be allocated and which time slots the other user will be allocated. And if the user is some premier user, then how many time slots we should be provided for him? What is the priority of the users? Each user is also provided with priority. That is the reason if you pay some high money and some more money, or if you subscribe for 4G data, then you will be provided with good services when compared to the person who is using 2G, right? So this all will be divided by radio resource management, which is present in BTS. Hope you remember that. When we discussed about the functionalities of the network elements, we discussed this. And so this is something like hierarchy. So in this frame, again we will be having multi-frame, all frames together. Suppose we are having, this is one frame. In frame, we are having 8 slots. 8 slots, one time slot allocated for, maybe, it depends, maybe 2 slots, 2 continuous slots may be allocated for particular use. Group of frames is again a multi-frame. Okay, see here we are having 26 frames. From 0 to 25 will be grouped as some multiplication will be this 4.6 into number of frames will be 26. That will maybe come around up to 120 milliseconds. So this is multi-frame. After multi-frame, we will be having super frame. Nothing but group slots will be one frame, group of frames will be multi-frame, and group of multi-frames will be a super frame, and group of super frames will be hyperframe. So what happens in hyperframe is, like in one hyperframe we will be transmitting all this, like we'll be transmitting the super frames. So whenever we reaches the maximum, like whenever it reaches 50, like 50 frames are transmitted, so that you want to transmit some more frames, then what will be done is it will go to slot number 1, and then again it will be transmitted from 0 to, like it will be hyperframe number 0. Like if you allocate some resources to user, it will be set as 0 hyperframe number, super frame number some 20, in that super frame number some 24 will be allocated, in that super frame, in that multi-frame again 4 will be allocated. It is hierarchy. Once you reach the end, then this hyperframe number will be incremented by 1. I think you got it, right? Once the suppose packets we say like 10 for 10 pack, suppose we are having number will be there, right? For every pack will be assigning the sequence number. So if suppose we have some 20 packets and 20 is the maximum sequence number. Suppose super frame number has some 20, then the 20 is the maximum sequence number. So you are continuously sending the packets. It reads 20. So if you send the packet again with 1, with 0 sequence number, then at the receiver it will be problem, right? In receiver side we will be reordering. Since these packets go, like whenever these packets are received, that will be reordered based on the sequence number. So when you send it with again one more same sequence number, then it will be a difficult, then it will be a problem. So because of that, we are distinguishing happens is, initially whenever we send the 20 sequence number, it will allocated. It is hyperframe number 0 and sequence number is, so this is different. Since maximum window size or the maximum sequence number is 20, whenever I receive some other 20, I check for hyperframe number, and since this hyperframe 1, it will think this is some packet, so no, there is no correlation, or this is not the duplicate packet of hyperframe number 0, sequence number 0. So this is why this is divided into these many frames and these many hyperframes. Okay, I hope it is clear. Then coming to channels, we are having physical channels and logical channels. So this channel map will also be like all control information will go on control channels, and wherever information is common to all the users, like say in 4G we are having SIPs. Actually SIPs in the sense, this is also broadcast information which is broadcasted to all the users in the sense, suppose some earthquake is coming, then some notification will be given to all the users. Like if it is network, if the network operator is Airtel, like it will be sending like earthquake notification to all the users. Nothing but the message is common to all the subscribers in its network, right? So that is called as broadcast message. When it is common to all of them, it will come under common. This control information, since then it will be called as common control. And if it is a dedicated thing, if it is data thing, then it will come under, if it is common to all users, and if it is traffic, then it is called as dedicated traffic. And if it is common, it is called as common traffic channel. If it is dedicated, then it is called as dedicated traffic channel. So coming to physical versus logical channels, physical channels are the available time slots of a BTS, as we have seen that. So like what are the time slots available, those things will come under the physical channels. Like whenever you are transmitting something out, then you will be allocated with some channel in the sense some frequency and some bandwidth. So using that frequency only, you will be transmitting those signals. So that frequency and the time slot, that like what time slot is allocated and at which frequency is allocated, that is nothing but physical channels. So in GSM we are having with a BTS with 6 carriers has 48 physical channels. Okay, in the sense 6 carriers means 6 frequencies. Then each frequency, like each bandwidth, each carrier is divided into 8 slots. So 8 users can occupy that. So 6 into 8, 6 frequencies with 8 time slots each. So 6 into 8 will be 48 physical channels. The channels are piggybacked on the physical channels. So since this logical channels mapping will be done above 5 layer, in the sense data link layer will be taking care of this. Exactly, saying MAC will take care of this. So whenever you are mapping these things, that will be mapped in MAC, in the sense data link, and after that you will be sending it to physical layer. So these logical channels are piggybacked to physical channels. So logical channels are laid over the grid of physical channels, and each physical channel performs a specific task. So each, if you are saying some channel, and if you are saying physical and logical, each of this has some importance. As I told you, if it is common, if it is dedicated, similar to that, each of it has some strict tasks to perform. And logical channels in the DSM, as I told you, traffic channels, 2 major classes, traffic channels and control channels. Traffic in the sense just data. Control in the sense some control information in order to transmit some data, in order to transmit whatever you ask, in order to have some data session. Before, some signaling should be exchanged between mobile station, base station and MSC. That signaling process is that signaling process, whatever happens, that will be happened in terms of channels, right? So that is exchanged in this control, whatever control information is exchanged, that will come under control channels. It will be exchanged in control channels. So if it is data, it will be exchanged in traffic channels. So these are the main two channels, logical channels. Okay. So you know right now what is physical channel and what is logical channel. What are the what are the major classes of logical channels? Yeah, coming to traffic channels, we are having two types of traffic channels. One is full rate traffic channel, another is half rate traffic channel. So full rate in the sense data rate. Rate in the sense like what to say, if it is duplex, and how the data rate. Yeah, I think I have in the next slides. No. Okay. So if it is full data rate, wait. Yeah, full rate in the sense the data rate will be high, and in half rate it will be half of that. Okay, these are the two types of traffic channels. And coming to control channels, as I told you, broadcast channels, which is like paging information. Paging in the sense whenever like one mobile want to talk to someone, whenever you call someone, then that mobile will be telling to its base station transceiver that I want to call someone. So then that base station transceiver will be notifying to MSC, mobile switching center. Then this mobile switching center will broadcast some message saying that like this mobile wants to connect to you. So please be up when if it is some in deactive state, or if it is sleeping, not in deactive exactly, if it is in ideal state, it will say like MSC will say like, so you are getting some call kind of thing, are you ready to take that call? Those kind of information casting will be done in broadcast channels. And common control channels, I explained you, like information which is common to all UVs is nothing but common control channel. Dedicated control channels in the sense only for particular UV you are sharing some information. See, so for initially, like in order to identify, initially you will be MSC will be broadcasting all the information to all the UVs present in it, right? After broadcasting, like if that person A is calling to person B, that information will be broadcasted in its cell, in its like BSC will be broadcasting that. Initially MSC will be sending that to BSC, and BSC will be doing this. So whenever this broadcast that information, like whichever is relevant, like source and destination will be sent, right? From where the call is initiated and to whom the call is to be broadcasted. So based on that, all UVs will be, all UVs in the sense all mobile equipments will be receiving this, and to whom it matches, like so destination should be matched. So whenever only one mobile will have that only one mobile will get matched with the destination address. So that mobile, whichever to whom it is matched, the destination is matched, it will reply back telling that yeah, I am ready, so that you can establish a call. This information will be told by the destination mobile. So other mobiles will ignore this message since it is not related to them. So whenever this is exchanged to MSC, then again that mobile station A will be transmitting the data or the signals. So whenever you say, after that, only that mobile station will be transmitting only the signals to, transmitting only the data to that particular UV. So even MSC from then onwards, it don't broadcast to everyone since the user is known, the destination address is known, the destination mobile equipment where it is present, under which PTS is present, that information will be shared in the common message, like common control message. So after that, since UV is known, since the mobile equipment is known, MSC will directly send frequencies, like some control information will be exchanged before, and based on that they'll have, like it will share that information only to that particular destination equipment. So since it will be dedicated, right? It is not common to all UVs, only that is shared between like base station and only that particular mobile station, nothing but dedicated control channel. So this is the difference. And coming to now we are done with physical layer. Coming to data link, quickly we'll wind up this and we'll start with GPRS. Then we'll be left over with MAC. Maybe I'll be having another thing that I'll be I'll be giving you the session on multiple access techniques. Okay. Yeah. Coming to data link layer mainly deals with error correction and detection. Okay. So in GSM connection based network, you know that traffic and signaling and control, these are the functionalities we are having, and signaling and control data are conveyed through layer 2 and layer 3 messages in GSM. Signaling data, control data, everything will be from layer 3 and layer 2. Only layer 1 is involved with encoding, decoding these techniques. So purpose of layer 2 is to check the flow of packets in layer 2 flow. Like can I transmit these many packets? Can the physical layer supports these many, if I transmit these many packets, can it support? Is the receiver capable of receiving these many bandwidths, these many packets? What is the bandwidth of the receiver? Based on this, the flow will be controlled in the data link layer. Data link layer checks the address and sequence for layer 3. I told you this, right? It will check we will be having reordering. Whenever you send some package, it will be having some sequence number, some address will be given. So that will be reordered at the receiver. DLL checks the data address and the sequence for layer 3. Also manages acts for transmission. So whenever you send something, we are having transparent and intransparent modes, if you remember that. So here we'll be having, like, whenever you send something, whenever data link layer is involved, you are sending something, no redundant, no cyclic prefixes is added, nothing is added, and you are sending it. So there may be some environment, dust particles, air, many things are present, like many other signals are present. So it may be corrupted, or it may be like interfered with some other signals. So because of these signals, your original signal or the main signal may get. So for that purpose, what we'll be having is, whenever the receiver receives, it will see if it received everything, like sequence number 0 received, 2 received, but one is not received. So it will say that I didn't number 1, please do retransmit that sequence number 1. So then that information will be sent to transmitter, then transmitter will be sending that sequence number 1 again. That is nothing but acts and nags. Also manages acts in the sense this is received, acknowledgement for the PDU which is received, and nags in the sense which is not received, negative acknowledgement will be given for transmission of packets. Allows 2 SAPs for signaling and SMS. SAPs in the sense service access point. So whenever like one layer speaks with other layer, it will be having some interface kind of, some interfaces. Allows 2 SAPs for signaling and SMS. And SMS traffic is carried through a fake signaling packet that carries user information over signaling channels. Okay, this SMS traffic will be carried through a fake signaling packet that carries user information over signaling channels. For SMS, in the sense, that is also a data signal, and that will be transmitted in some DTCH channel, traffic channel, dedicated traffic channel. DLL allows SMS data to be multiplexed into signaling antennas. This will also be done, right? Whenever we are having, since we are telling that we are having in physical layer, we are having 6 subcarriers and 8 slots, then we'll be having multiplexing which will come into the picture. And whenever these logical channels are piggybacked into physical layer channels, then also multiplex will come into the picture, because all control channels at physical layer will be piggybacked into some control channel, and all the data channels, traffic channels will be piggybacked into one frequency and time slot. So this is where, so here multiplexing will come into the picture. And the same thing, we have, as I told you, these are the interference, LAPD and LAPDM. Signaling packet delivered to the physical layer is 184 bits, which conforms with the length of the downlink packets in LAPD protocol used in. This is the bits which is delivered to physical layer. And LAPD protocol is used for A and ABS interface. You know that what are the interfaces between mobile station and base station transceiver, and base station transceiver and base station controller. The DLL for UM interfaces this one, right? Can you tell me what is uplink and what is downlink? I asked you this question maybe twice. At least this time I think I can expect the answer from you. What do you mean by downlink and what do you mean by uplink? This is basic when you talk about any computer, like when you talk something related to telecom. And moreover, if it is mobile computing, I think it is mandatory to know what is downlink and what is uplink. The only thing I want from you is please do respond. If you don't know, just say me like I know. This, can you repeat this? Okay, fine, let me continue. Downlink in the sense from base station transceiver to mobile equipped, and uplink in the sense signals which are transmitted or the data which is transmitted from mobile equipment to base station transceiver. Okay, fine. LAPDM, you know this, the linked access procedure on the DM channel. LAPDM is the protocol for use by data link layer on the radio interface, right? So this functions, the functionalities of this will be, we discussed in the previous session also, organization of layer 3 information into frames. You know, right? The functionalities, like we will be having frames and then we will be having bursts. So organization of L3 frames to frames, P2P transmission of signaling, having formats and maintaining that formats. P2P in the sense, like mobile station will be having 3 layers and base station transceiver will also will be having 3 layers. P2P in the sense data link to data link. Okay, the peer entities like point to point. From this, here we are having in mobile station we are having link, and in the station also we are having data link layer. So whatever is coded or whatever functionalities are done by data link layer, that will only be decoded and that will only be understood by the data link layer of base station transceiver. Okay, so P2P transmission of signaling data and recognition of frame formats. First, it will be having, mainly it will be converting the layer 3 in the sense from network layer will be having some data coming into the data link layer, and then what it will do is it will format that frames. It will divide into frames, and for that frames it will be transmitting the that frames will be transmitted into the physical layer. For that, like it will be capable of recognition of one or more parallel data links on the signaling channels. These are the functionalities of LAPDM. And the frame format will be like this. See, like we are having it is octets, it is nothing but 8 bits. So what is the first octet and what is the second octet? Like where the address feed will be, where the source address and where the destination address, and what information and what where the control information is stored. Like this is the hierarchy. First, this is the opening flag in octet 1. And from octet 2 it will be having a address and then control information and then layer 3 information. Okay, then frame sequences and then closing flag. This is the frame format which is followed in LAPD. So when we say like we are having address, control, length indicator, these are the bits allocated to address field. Address field in the sense where you are, like see, address field is used to carry the service access point identifier, protocol revision version, nature of the message, what is the message type and what is the protocol you are following and to which SAP it is going. Like as I told you, between 2 layers we'll be having like access point, normally access point in the sense like some router kind of thing. So to which PDN network you are taking the data, some are from network which from like we are having the PSTN, right, from where it is coming, like which PSTN, these kind of things will come under, like If it is the only voice signal, then you will be having one access point. If it is related to data, then you will be having another access point. So depending on the service you are subscribing, then depending on the service you are subscribing, you will be provided with separate with the help of and service access point is different and access point is different. So with the help of this only, data will be flowing in, like it will be distinguished at the end only, and after distinguishing that, it will be flowing into our network and finally to the mobile station. So SAPI, when using command or control frames, the SAPI identifies the user for which command frame is intended and the like to whom it is intended, and the user transmitting a response frame. And these are all the bits, like control field carries the sequence number and what is the type of, and length indicates what is the length of data and what is the length of destination address, and the length will be carried out by length indicator, and information field carries the payload. The original data will be contained in information field, and then this is fill in bits to extend the length of, if you want some more length to be used, then these bits will be filled. So in order, so that you will be provided with some more bits to, if you want to extend your data. Like information, like here you are having some bits, and if you want to extend this information, then this will be useful. Okay, this is the frame structure, how the frame structure is and what are the bits and where it is allocated. Just go through those things. Okay, types of frames will be numbered in, like the three types of frames for supervisory functions, unnumbered information transfer and control functions, like for data and for control functions, and numbered information transfer. Some will be provided with number, right? This number. For even for frames also will be having some numbers will be provided, some for recognizing that frame. So these things will be these are the three types of frames for these functionalities. And address field for LAPDM will be same, like in address field what it is having, like extended address, field address, link protocol discriminator, like what it is using, what link protocol discriminator it is using, and whether it is response frame or the command frame, and what is the extended address, if it, how much extended address can be, how many bits the extended address can use, and if you want some bits in future, then you will be having spare bits. This is all control format structures and address format structures. And what is the difference between LAPD and LAPDM? Where like where LAPD comes into the picture and where LAPDM comes into the picture. I hope you all know. Like LAPDM uses no cyclic redundancy check. The slide itself mentions, right? Since the error correction and detection are provided by convolution coding in physical layer, there is no cyclic redundancy check in LAPDM. Okay? Yeah. Layer 2 messages will be this, like acknowledgement, whether receiver is ready, whether it is synchronous or asynchronous. In the previous session itself, I enabled, I think then only you downloaded that, right? This PPT. Actually, this topic should be covered last week. So I thought you downloaded that last time. So now it is enabled. You can download the PPT. Okay, so whether it is synchronous or not asynchronous, and whether that is numbered or not unnumbered, like whether the receiver accepts the call or rejects the call, and it is not ready. These kind of things are in layer 2 messages. These messages are sent in peer-to-peer, as I told you, data link layer from mobile station to data link layer of base station transceiver. If you see that architecture, you'll come to know these messages do not have layer 3 information, which obviously each layer, if it is layer 3, then only layer 3 information bits will be added over there, right? Fill-in bits cover the information bits field. Fill-in bits will be having, if you want to extend something, then you'll be using this If you want to extend your information, then you will be using this fill-in bits. So same thing, I told you we'll be having paging channels and control channels. Standalone channels, maybe I didn't tell you. Main channels will be paging channels, control channels, dedicated in the sense traffic channels. In that also we are again having common, dedicated. Dedicated in the sense only to, just remember, common in the sense common to all mobile stations, dedicated in the sense only to particular mobile. Okay, paging channel. The paging channel, it is of it can transmit 176 bits. Okay, the downlink packet. The downlink packet for the signaling will only have 8 bits, 8-bit length of field. Okay, for signaling purpose, it is having only 8-bit length and 184 bits encoded into that time, right? For encoding 180, if it is 184, it will be encoded into 456. Because of the channel encoding, I told like almost twice of that is getting added. So like encoded to 456, the 456 bits are then transmitted through 8 physical channels. Okay. Then the standalone dedicated channel, in the sense it contains 160 bits. It is of 166 bits. Like you can transmit, if you want to transmit something in this dedicated control channel, then you will be using, then you have to, that should be in the form. Layer packet for the signaling channel has 3 to 8 bits used for add. In that also, whenever you are saying something, for that you will be having source address, destination address, pair bits, information field, and then many other fields. So length of the information field, these things are will be for each and every frame will be having. So these things will be indicated here. Like in this 3 to 8 bits will be used by address, control, and length of information field. Okay. Rest of them can be used for data purpose. And the slow associated control channel, it is of 144 bits and 16 fill-in bits, and 3 to 8 bits are used for address purpose, control, and length of information field. The other layer will be networking layer or messaging layer. So in layer 3, the protocols are used for communication of network resources, mobility, code format, data management messages between the various network entities. I think each of that you know. See, first, communication of network resources. I told you, radio resource management, those things. Mobility. So mobility in the sense whenever your handover can come into the mobility, whenever you are moving from one place to another place, then another tower may come into the picture. You are on there that like you are getting the signals of other tower stronger when compared to your home tower. So then handover kind of things. What are the code formats, call related, whether the call is active or not, whether the session takes extended session, those things and the messages will be taken care by this layer. Let us see in detail. See layer 3. A number of mechanisms needed to establish, maintain, and terminate a mobile communication session. It can be any session. It can be a voice session, and it can be a data session. It can be a multimedia service. It can be any service. For that service, when the call is established, when the service is established, for how much time the service should be maintained, and what are the when it should be terminated, and what basis whenever he terminates, what are the messages that should be exchanged, and what are the things that should take whenever the call is in process. Those things will be taken care this layer. Layer 3 implements the protocols needed to support these mechanisms. The corresponding protocols will be implemented by this layer 3 in order to perform these functionalities. And a signaling protocol, the registration process is composed of a sequence of communication. As I told you, before establishing some session, you will be having a lot of signaling channels, like signaling messages that will be exchanged. And layer 3, these functionalities will be taken care by layer 3. Layer 3 defines the details of implementation of messages on the logical channels encapsulated in the down. Like implementation level details will be equipped with, will be taken care by layer 3. like to which logical channels and where that logical channel should be mapped. So which downframe, these things will be, the details will be defined by layer 3. Layer 3 message format is like this. So for each and every layer, like if you suppose for layer 1 will be having a convolution, burst, super address field, those similar to that we'll be having layer 3. For layer 3 also we'll be having some format for each and every format, right? One specific format. So when coming to layer 3, these are parent. So you're having some sequence, some message with sequence number, and what is the protocol that sequence number is used. Suppose whenever you are transmitting packets, sequence number 0 can be for one user and sequence number 2 can be for, sequence number 1 can be for other user. So and sequence number 0 can use one protocol and sequence number 1 can. So these are all dictates like which sequence number to use and where it should be provided with what services and what is the protocol that is used. That will be under transaction identifier. So basically to identify what protocol is used, that will be given by transaction identifier. And protocol discriminator. Protocol discriminator in the sense like we are, as I told you, that supplementary services and call control management, these things will be given by protocol discriminator. Supplementary in the sense call word service, call in progress, and call forwarding, block list, these things. These are the supplementary services that are provided to user, right? So these things will be based on these things. These things will be under protocol discriminator. Like see here we'll be having what is the sequence number and what is the protocol used. Here we'll be having like is provided with what services, this sequence number is provided with services, and what is the call procedure and what is the service. These things will be provided here. And message type will be identifies the message. Okay, for each and every message there will be one identifier, that is nothing but message type. Information elements. Information elements in the sense an optional field here, an optional field for the time that an instruction carries some information that is specified by IE identifier. IE, if it is like if it is transmitting something, if something is transmitted in IEA related to that, if there is some extra information that can be transmitted in IEA. Information element in the sense like first this will be decoded and based only we'll come to know which data to decode, and some information can be known with the help of this information element. Here it is optional. Okay, then these are the messages like registration, IMSI detached indication, like category, what is the message, and direction. Okay, like these are the some things. Registration, security, connection management, and news. I think what do you mean? I think you know what do you mean by registration process. Whenever initially you connect to some network, you should first register to that particular network. Then only you will be getting that. You switch on your phone, immediately you won't get your signals up, right? So that time you will be registering with a particular MSC. So once you register, then only once your registration process is done and once you are authenticated, then only get some signals. If you are not valid user, then you won't get signals and you don't get any connection kind of thing. That is nothing but registration. In registration we'll be having IMSI. IMSI means whenever you are registering, you will be registering with some unique identifier. That is nothing but IMSI. IMSI will be, where do you think IMSI is present? Where IMSI is present? Where IMSI is present, International Mobile Subscriber Number, where is it? Where it is present? If I say IMEI number, since it is related to mobile equipment, it is mobile hardware. Nothing but mobile equipment itself has that IMEI number. What about IMSI? I told you. Please don't get confused. IMSI is nothing but international. So it will be present in SIM, subscriber information module. Whatever information is related to subscriber, that will be stored in SIM. That is why it is called subscriber information module. In the sense, module which holds the information of the subscriber. So IMSI is nothing but a layer which is given to a subscriber. So IMSI, so that IMSI will be holded by SIM. Okay. So this, whenever you are having registration, so since each user is allocated with one IMSI, one unique identifier that will be registered at the MSC. So IMSI attach procedure will be there in while detaching, while you are terminating or not termination, when you are deactivating, when you are switching off your mobile, then registration process will be down. So detaching will be done. Detaching in the sense like whenever you are registering, it is called as attaching, and whenever you are deregistering, whenever you are switching your mobile, then deregistration, MSC won't have your IMSI, then that is called as detaching. It will take off that record, that AMC, since you are not under that, since you are not under that location. Maybe you are under that location. Since your mobile is switched off, then it will consider like that mobile is deactive and it will just remove that AMC from its list. So that is nothing but IMSI detaching. And location updating. Location updating, as I told you, MSC will be providing, since MSC is which will track all the mobile stations, like where this mobile station is present, where that particular mobile station is present. It is the one which is responsible for tracking this. It only that, like it is the one which is responsible for tracking this, since it has that MC. Everything related to the subscriber and mobile will be that information will be stored in HSS. So MSC will have that information. MSC is connected, like HSS is the only one which is communicating with MSC. So MSC will take all the information related to that subscriber from that mobile, from the home subscriber. So since it is having to, like this is the IMSI which is under me, so it will be keeping on tracking that IMSI. Wherever it goes, it will keep track on that. And if it is not in its area, it will intimate to some other mobile station. So that happens. So MSC will take care of that location updation things. It will see whenever it goes to some other thing, it will update in the HSS that this mobile station which is having this particular MC moved to some other station. It is now under some other MSC. What is the destination MSC number? That also it will be updated in the HSS. There it will be updated in this location register. Reject, updation request, accept, whether if you have some location update request, whether it is accepted or rejected, there again some factors will come into the picture. Maybe by the time, like whenever you are requesting, like I want to update, like MSC will be sending some request to HSS, like I update this, it will be sending request like update this mobile, since it moved to other location, update this. Maybe because of some factors it may reject that and it may accept that HSS. So these are the other messages. And security related, I told you, authentication request, authentication response, authentication reject is not valid user, and identity request in the sense IMSI. And identity response, TIMSI in the sense I told you, whenever we go to some other location, visitor location will be allocated with TIMSI. TIMSI in the sense temporary mobile subscriber ID. Since you are a temporary person to that particular place, you will be allocated with TIMSI. TIMSI reallocation, TIMSI reallocation command and reallocation complete. Coming to service, what is the service? What are the service you are requesting for, and is that service accepted by the network or it is rejected by the network? And if something goes wrong, you will be re-establishing the entire process. Like you're on a call and some radio link fails, like maybe due to some weather condition, some physical layer fails, or some other layer may be unable to decode that data, or some authentication problem, or there can be many reasons. So because of that, if something happens, then what we'll be doing is, instead of again restarting with from again broadcast again, instead of restarting with registration process, what you will be doing is you will be re-establishing the request. I mean, you'll be sending re-establishment request. So then all the resources allocated to you will be again nullified, and then again the flow will be started. Okay. And miscellaneous. Okay. Maybe I'll cover this. 10 minutes. Okay, layer 3 messages. I told you, management, mobility in the sense handover, radio resources in the sense how the resources are allocated, connection in the sense for how much time the connection should be maintained. Those are related to the services. Okay, radio resource management. The radio resource sublayer handles all the procedures necessary to establish, maintain, and release dedicated radio connections. This I think you know. Channel allocation, how the channel should be allocated, where it get it, how much resources should be allocated to this particular user, and what is the quality of service that should be maintained, is he a premier subscriber or a regular subscriber, and all those things will be based on the channel allocation will be done. But in the sense like based on the measurement reports, we have seen right what is handover. In that handover, mobile station will be providing with measurement reports. In that we are mobile controlled, mobile assisted, and network controlled handover. Hope you remember that. So whenever you want to hand over, whenever that signal strength falls, target cell signal strength is more than the source cell, then hand over these things. And timing advance in the sense you are sending something, but receiver is not at all receiving that. I mean, it is not in a mode. Receiver is not ready to receive that. Then whatever you send is waste, right? So it will be like what we'll be having is for that only we instead first will be exchanging this timing advance command. So whenever we give this timing advance, like receiver will be told like at this information at this time I will be transmitting some information, so please be ready at that time. So based on that it will be in sync at that time. Since we are sharing the information when we are sending the information, these things, at what time we are sending, these things, some synchronization will be maintained between these two things. This is like time related parameters, when to transmit. These things will be shared in timing advance. So synchronization will be achieved between mobile station and base station transceiver. Power control, like with what power it needs to be transmitted. If it is less power, maybe the signal is not received at the base station transceiver. So then base station transceiver will ask for just increase your power and send it back. So power control, these things will be taken care by radio resource management. And frequency hopping, you told, with different frequencies. Instead of one frequency, we'll be having hopping in the frequencies. These all things will be taken care by radio resource management. And mobility management, you know, assumes a reliable RR connection, responsible for location management, whether that subscriber moved to some other location or he is on the particular same location, this location updation things, location request. I have seen, like you have seen in the previous slide, what are the all messages which are present in GSM. You can take each of that message and you can correlate, okay. So under mobility management, location management and security. So what are the security the vectors? These things I told the authentication center, and based on that security, these things security related, location related will be taken care by mobility management. Okay, under mobility management, same thing, location updating, and security involves authentication, encryption. Alright, these things you know. Then the protocols in the MM layer involve the SIM, MSC, VLR, these things also you know. And coming to connection management, the connection management functionalities is divided into three subcategories. One is call control. What are the basic, like for establishing call, what are the basic things that come under, and supplementary in the sense additional features provided for a subscriber, and the like call bearing those things, call forwarding those things, and short message service is nothing but SMS. Okay. Call control sublayer in the sense, see, manages call routing, call establishment, maintenance, and release. It is closely related to ISDN call control. Okay. Yeah, connection management. Connection management, same thing. The other thing will be supplementary service. Manages the implementation of various supplementary services like call forwarding, call waiting, call hold, and what we call that, yeah, I'm unable to get that point. Okay, fine. And also allows users to access and modify their service subscription. Like subscription, if you want to extend, you can extend your subscription. Like you have subscribed for some 3D service only for 2 days. If you want to extend, those kind of services, supplementary services will be provided with this connection. This is one of the functionality of connection management. Short message services, you know that, like how the messages should be routed and what is the destination, these things. handles the routing and delivery of short messages. Both, yeah, these are the differences. Yeah. This is something related to GSM architecture and functionalities, protocols which are involved, what are the frames, like how the like each layer, as we know that we are having 3 layers, how each layer has some header, what are the headers included, and what is the format of that. These are the things mainly discussed in GSM, right? This completes your GSM. Then we'll be having GPRS, I think it's already 10:25. So maybe in the next session we'll have discussion on GPRS. Maybe it will take for an I uploaded the PPT in documents. So we'll go through that in the next session. After that we'll be having MAC. You have any doubts related to this network elements and the functionalities, or everything is clear? Please do respond. Is everything clear till now? Basically, I think in GSM you will definitely get some question like architect. Maybe it can be an architecture or it can be a functionalities of some networks and how that will be done, how routing will be done, what are the functionalities of MSC and what are the functionalities of EAR, HLR, these things, and what is like connection management and what is NSS, network subsystem, base station subsystem, and what are the protocols in between them, what are the interfaces between them, these things. These all things are covered in these 2 PPTs. Maybe I think GSM I have taken 2 sessions. This is one section, and previously also I covered the handovers. I covered maybe handovers is also an important topic in that types of handovers: intra-cell, inter-cell, intra-MSC, inter-MSC, and the other types: vertical, horizontal, soft, hard. These handovers. These are also important topics. Just go through that. With this, we have covered GSM handovers. And then in the first layer, we have covered the mobile devices, architecture, those things like basics of wireless communication, like modulation techniques, multiplexing techniques. These things are covered. If you want me to have some more things, you can let me know. Once in the next session, as I told you, we'll complete those things, and then we'll discuss. If you want anything more, you can get back to me. Piggyback in the sense I told, right? See, logical channels are 2, physical channels in the sense you can't transmit that logical channels. Some group of logical channels will be grouped into one channel, and uh, uh, they'll be overloaded on the physical channel. So piggybacked with that logical channels. That is meant by piggyback, means overload kind of thing. See, like in the logic, like in the MAC level or in the data link layer, you may be having 10 channels, but you can't transmit the 10 channels separately in the physical layer. So in that, you will be having common control channels, common dedicated. So all these common control channels will be grouped as control channels, and it will be given some time slot and some frequency in the physical layer, and all the dedicated channels and all the traffic information, these things will be again grouped into one thing, and that will be given some time slot and some free, like, so we can say like this logical channels are piggybacked on the physical channels. I think you got right. Physical channels in the sense just blindly think like a physical signal which is transmitted in terms of time slot and frequency. Channel in the sense in physical layer levels, one time slot allocated to a user with some particular frequency is nothing but physical channel. So whenever you are having this logic channels overloaded on the physical layer, that is nothing but piggyback. Is it clear? So if you have any doubts in GSM, I think you can get back to me. Can I wind up the session? Is it clear? The piggyback means someone from JNTU has it clear? Can I wind up the session for today? Toll connection. Like this GSM will be used in, these are some of the applications actually, like where GSM is used. When like you're having toll gates, right? There you'll be like you'll be having some ticketing kind of thing. Like similar to your phone, in your phone you are using some bandwidth, some frequencies. There also whenever you are scanning, you'll be having some GS where you want some resources that need to be used using these things. Is it clear? Or if you want in detail how that is, how which bandwidths are used there and how that application, then I can discuss that. Then maybe in the next session. Which bandwidths are allocated and how that application is run and what are the inputs taken and what are the outputs given. Those things can be, if you want, I can give that. Yeah, example for piggybacking is channels. How to say that? Multiplexing. Physical channels, your common control channel. These channels will be, see, same time you are having control channels and dedicated channels. Same time slot you can't transmit those signals, right? So for that purpose, under common control channel, we have seen there are many channels, full rate. Under traffic channels, we are having full rate, half rate. Under the control channels, we are having common control channels, dedicated control channels. So these common control channels will, suppose these common control channels have some 10 frames. And under that common control, we'll be having common control and if it is first under control and dedicated, control and traffic channel. Control for control information and traffic for data. Under control, you'll be dividing into common control, dedicated control, these things. And under traffic, you'll be having full traffic, half traffic, and dedicated traffic or common traffic. So these four things, what we'll be doing is we'll putting it together in the form of bits, and then like logical channels in the sense it is virtual. We can't see that, it is not allocated with anything. It is virtual thing. Physical channels is nothing but it is some signal with frequency and sometimes it's time. So these channels, these logical channels, we grouped into two groups, right? So this one group will be allocated with one set of frequency and one set of time, and this will be given with some time and some frequency. So this is nothing but piggybacking. In the sense, since logical channels are virtual, physical channels are which is real and which is analog signals which are transmitted. So these channels, grouping of this thing, grouping and sending it with some frequency is nothing but piggybacking. You know that meaning itself suggests, right? So if something is on top of it, if you are putting something, then it is nothing but piggybacking. See, you are transmitting something. Instead of transmitting that, you are adding some more information to that, then it is nothing piggybacking. Here, if it is related to GSM, logical channels are piggybacked onto the physical layer in the sense, these logical channels are grouped. These are virtual channels, logical channels. So these channels we are grouping it. Like whenever we transmit something, we don't know whether, whenever we transmit some signal, we don't know whether it is control information or whether it is data information. So for our purpose, we are distinguishing this is control information, this is data information, and then whatever the information is, we have to send that to physical layer, right? So then we'll be grouping that, and then we'll be giving then we'll be assigning that with some frequency and time slot. So some frequency and time slot is nothing but physical layer. So physical layer is transmitting those control information and dedicated information. So we can say like logical channels are equipped with or piggybacked with physical channels. Is it clear? You understood what is piggybacking? Some load kind of thing, extra load kind of thing. The meaning itself suggests for piggybacking itself. Is it clear? Yeah, okay, fine. I think I can wind up the session. If you have any doubts, you can get back to me. If I don't know, I can tell you in the next session. Okay? Yeah, fine. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Have a nice day.